welcome to this week's Powerhouse. Now, remember that sexy Mark 1 black Cosy that we had on last week? Yes, of course you do. Well, the owner's back today. His name's Dave Perry and he's here, and he's brought his latest baby with him.
That's right. Dave, would you like to come with me? Nice to meet you again. It's obviously Mitsubishi, obviously an EVO 4, but I can't open it personally, so I'll let you do that. Neither can you either. No. There we go. OK, well, can you talk me through the car?
Right, we've got low compression ceramic coated pistons which have been fitted to it. We have HKS reprofiled camshafts, HKS induction kit. It's running electronic boost control on it. It's now running around about 1.3 bar pressure, an uprated fuel pump, and all in all the package producing around about 360 horsepower.
Which is quite tame, really, for an EVO 4, isn't it?
It's yes, not too bad, not too bad.
Now, there's lots of little trick bits, but most of them happen on the inside of the car.
They do.
Now, I like these personally, so can you show them to me again, and I can get even more enjoyment out of them?
No problem, no problem.
Right,
so
where do we start?
Yeah, exactly. We have a boost gauge, exhaust gas temperature gauge, oil temperature gauge. We have down here the little black box which electronically controls the car's boost pressure and is able to switch from low to high boost. And we have here another little gizmo which gives you a head-up display on the windscreen.
Right, so that's what this is for?
That's right. Yeah,
it's got nothing to do with breakdown recovery then?
No, nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with that. It gives you an RPM readout, a miles per hour readout, and will even tell you your 0 to 60 times on your standing quarter mile times.
It's quite handy in a car with as much power as this.
This is true. Yeah, it's very, very trick.
Well, are you happy with this car?
I would say it's probably one of the best cars that I've driven.
Yeah?
I have to say, its handling is superb.
Now, I do want to point out, you showed it to us before, I don't think you meant to, but there's some spray jets on the front, isn't there? What do they do?
They are designed to water cool the intercooler.
Right.
Providing you can find time to take your hands off the steering wheel and press the button, of course. It's easier than it sounds.
You don't want to, you don't want to lose this car in a bend.
You don't.
Now, Dave, will you come and speak to us on the seat?
No problem.
Now, well, as we go over, you actually own the garage, don't you?
We do. Yeah.
And so, what do you actually do?
What do I do? Yeah. For my sins, I run the place. The garage itself is a compilation of two garages. One is called DP Motorsport, and the other one is called 930 Sport. 930 Sport has been going for 8 years and is mainly concentrating on Porsche service, repair and tuning. The DP Motorsport has evolved out of that, and we now take on any other makes and marks of car, and we're able to do whatever type of tuning people come to us and ask us for.
So how did you actually get started on the old tuning road?
That was a natural progression, sort of forced upon me, from 3 years' worth of circuit racing with Porsche 911 turbos, which we were very successful at. We were then asked to prepare race cars for other people, and then we were then asked to service road cars for other people, and it's just progressed from that. And the Porsche, as I say, has now expanded into other makes and marks, and it's quite a big setup now.
Now, Dave, I've actually been around your showroom, as you know, and it's really sexy there. The ambience is quite cool there and everything. But what kind of customers do you actually get in there? It's quite hardcore tuning, I would say, at the end of the day.
I would say that our customer base is broken down, excluding the servicing side, is broken down into 3 types of customer. I would say you've got the individual who would like to customise his car aesthetically. Yeah. Which might be a set of wheels, it might be a different exhaust tailpipe, maybe some aerodynamic aids. The second type is the customer who wants to go quicker and safer on the public road, at which point you might be talking power increases, improvements to suspension and brakes. And of course the third type of customer is the hardcore racing customer, who, you know, they are really the basis of the DP Motorsport.
So they'll come in and spend basically huge sums of money trying to get their car the best it possibly can be.
They come to win, yeah. For nothing else normally.
That's excellent. But you know, what types of tuning are there that you actually get sorted out there? As far as the actual engine tuning goes, what kind of degrees?
I would say that the tuning can start off with something as simple as an air filter and an exhaust system, and can progress to something as deep as a full engine strip with tuning components from America or Japan. So there's two extremes of the spectrum, but we can do anything in between.
Splendid.
Excellent. Dave, thank you very much for coming along today.
It's a pleasure.
And bringing this fabulous car.
Thanks a lot, Dave.
Pleasure.
Cheers.
All right, now it doesn't happen very often, but we've been let out, believe it or not, like fools from an asylum. We went off to see a mate of ours. Yeah, here we go. We've been let out, and I'm here in deepest, darkest Lancashire, and I've come to meet a guy with a full stable of cars, and you're not going to believe them when you see them. But I think I've been lied to be damn honest, because I'm the only one here, I'm frozen to death, and... wait a minute. Morning, Paul. Well, I thought I'd been set up. Where have you been?
I'm sorry, I've just been down the road for a paper. Have you been here long?
I've been here a couple of hours. I'm freezing to death. Anyway, I've got to say, this is not... this isn't modified. What is it, and what have you done?
This, in fact, is a concept car which has been put into production by Isuzu due to demand.
Right, and it's standard, isn't it?
It's standard for this car, but it's certainly not as standard as opposed to other 4x4s.
Well, how do you mean?
It's very light, it's extremely powerful, and lots of goodies, lots of trick bits.
Yeah? Yeah, what like?
Such as it's four-wheel drive plus torque on demand,
Right.
active suspension.
Yeah.
It's got a V6 24-valve engine, and basically will embarrass most hot hatches.
Yeah, so a lot of fun to drive.
Very, very much so.
Do you use this every day?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
Excellent. I mean, it's brilliant. What's this big screen here in the front?
It's a Clarion system which incorporates a reversing camera, television, plus obviously radio cassette, that sort of thing.
I'm going to have a proper look at that after. Paul, how did you get started with this sort of car?
I'm in fact I'm still a motorcyclist, but I try to recreate my youth by modifying cars, by making them as fast as possible, and I like things which are very, very different to the norm.
Right, yeah, and this is different. I mean, I've
Very
noticed over there you've got a Cinquecento over there that doesn't look standard.
That's my son's.
That's
It's a very radical Cinquecento.
We'll have a look at that in a bit. Now, like we were saying, I've been stood here ages, and you're late for going for a paper.
Sorry.
And that Jarvis, he's just not bothered turning up at all.
Oh, he's been here for ages. He's in my garage looking at me other toys.
That's right, I have been here ages, but I think you would be too if you saw what we got in here. We got a Lancia Integrale, we got a Porsche 911 Turbo, we got my personal favourite, a Ferrari. A few bikes over there as well, and let's meet the man who owns them all again. Paul, how are you doing?
Fine, how are
Thanks
you?
for letting us come down today.
You're welcome.
So Paul, how do you amass a collection of cars like this?
It hasn't been easy, a lot of hard work, and no holidays for 23 years.
Spinning well. My first car was a brown Metro, and it was not a bad car really. What was your first car?
Oh, I hate to tell you this, a Reliant three-wheeler.
Really?
Honestly.
And things just progressed from there, I would assume.
Just a bit, yeah.
So what did you get after that? How did you get the bug for the...
I didn't really have a car bug for many years. My car after that was an MGB Roadster.
Right.
And it was mainly motorbikes, to be quite honest with you. And this is all about me trying to recreate my youth and the thrill that I get from motorbikes.
Oh, right. But, I mean, you can get the same kind of thrill from motorbikes with these cars, I would imagine. I mean, let's start with this one. This is a Ferrari Testarossa. There's been modifications here, I believe.
Yes, just a bit. It's a Koenig Testarossa. In that the engine is slightly oversized for more horsepower. It's got a sports exhaust system, 18-inch wheels. The brakes are uprated by Tarox.
The brakes are absolutely huge, aren't they? I mean, the brakes are like an unbelievable size. They're kind of six-pot.
Yeah, six-pot calipers, 330mm rotors on the front.
Unbelievable. And what else have you actually done to the car?
That's about it, to be honest, because even standard, they're a very, very fast car.
do you get out in this car much?
Yes, yeah, I use them all.
Do you?
In fact, it's a very high mileage car. For a Ferrari, it's done nearly 10,000 miles.
What's it like around, sort of, I bet it turns a few heads to say the least, but I mean,
you can't pick your nose when
no,
you
I bet you can't. What about the fuel consumption of it there?
It's not too bad, to be quite honest with you. Around about 20 miles to the gallon, I would estimate.
And what kind of speed do you think this car's actually capable of?
I know it'll do just over 190 miles an hour.
How do you know that, if you don't know?
I've done it on Autobahns.
Really?
Yeah.
What's that feel like when you're...
It feels brilliant.
Oh, unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. And you've got like loads of other cars here, but this is a white Testarossa. Everyone goes for the red usually. What inspired you to get the white? I mean, I'm sure you could have got the red if you'd...
Funnily enough, when I went this is my favourite Ferrari. Even compared to the modern ones, the 550s, the 355s, etc. I'd prefer this car, mainly because of the engine. But when I went to buy it, there was a red one, and quite frankly, I was really taken with it in white. It's got far more road presence.
I know what you mean. I sort of thought that when I came in. Straight away I thought that looks absolutely beautiful, and it really is. It's unbelievably gorgeous. How much would you pay for a car like this?
This specification, I would suggest close to £100,000.
£100,000, but worth every penny, I would have thought.
Very much so, yeah.
Is this the only Ferrari you've ever had?
No, I have had a couple in the past, but not in the same league as this one.
Really? What were the other ones that you had?
308s.
308s? Yeah. What, they in white as well?
No, they were red.
Red?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, Paul, I mean, it's an absolutely unbelievable machine. I know you're going to show us around the rest of them, but are you going to let me have a drive in this one?
By all means.
I don't believe it. That's brilliant. Excellent. I can't wait. Thanks a lot, Paul.
You're very welcome.
Cheers. And if you think that car was good, you wait till you see what we've got coming up in part 2. We're going to be seeing the rest of Paul's collection, and of course we'll be paying a visit to Lobo Castro. See you in a bit.
Welcome back to the powerhouse, and we're back in Paul's powerhouse. Paul, hello again.
Hi.
Now, this, of course, is a Delta Integrale, but what have you done to it? Because I know you don't keep your car standard.
No, it's an EVO 3, but what I've done is I've put 17-inch magnesium competition wheels on it, a twin exhaust system, twin outlet at the back, K&N filter, and it's super chipped, producing just under 300 horsepower and 310 foot-pounds of torque.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. These cars, though, were brilliant in standard form. I mean, as we all know, they were great in rallying and still, I believe, hold the record at Kielder.
Yeah.
But what have your modifications done to the car?
They've made it a lot faster responding, basically. It's still, in my opinion, the fastest car A to B on the roads today. It's a great, fun car to drive. It's made it just that much quicker. In fact, I had a little bit of a challenge with a Subaru WRX the other day, and he couldn't pass me. He was absolutely sick. So I was really pleased.
I would have been sick as well. No, I love this car. I mean, this is the sort of thing I would love to aspire to. Out of your entire collection, what's yours?
This is my favourite car, without a doubt. If I had to get rid of just keep one, this would be it.
Really?
Definitely.
It is absolutely amazing. Have you ever thought of putting it on a track and racing it?
Absolutely, yes. I'm actually going to take it sprinting this year.
You are?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd love to see it in action. I mean, how many people are actually going to be able to keep with it?
There's some very good drivers out there with some very fast equipment, but around the very tight circuits, I think it's going to do particularly well.
Well, I've noticed in every single one of your cars, you've got radar detectors.
Yes, officer. I mean, yes, I have.
No, I thought they were still illegal.
No, there was a test case recently, and now it is legal to have them, to own them and have them switched on in your car.
Really?
Yes.
Now, you haven't got one in your Porsche. What's the reason behind this?
Very simply, you wouldn't be able to hear it. It's very loud in there.
Now, I know you've seen the programme.
Yeah.
And let's face it, I mean, if you've got the resources, as you obviously have, to take supercars and do them, you've got what most people would aspire to here in the Integrale. What would you say to the lads that are starting out with the Renault 5s and the other cars that we've had on the programme?
Quite frankly, I think they're absolutely wonderful. I really approve of what they're doing, and in fact, that's how I started.
Really?
Yes, yeah. And some of the work that they've put into their cars is easily as good as what I put into mine, albeit on a smaller scale. But when all said and done, if it's modified and it's individual and it's tailored to your personal taste, then you're doing exactly the right thing. I think it's brilliant.
So that's how you started?
Very much so, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, with 5 turbos, things like that.
Really?
Yeah.
So is it a long list of the cars that you had?
Yes, more than I could name on this programme, I would imagine. Yeah, I've had everything from, say, 5 turbos, 21 turbos, Cosworths, even a collection of Group B rally cars.
Really?
Yes.
such as 6R4s,
6R4, T16, yeah.
Really? I bet they were fun.
Great fun, but not as much fun as this.
Really?
Absolutely.
Now those things really started to give the Lancias something to deal with, and they're not as much fun?
No, because they're out-and-out competition cars, and they're very, very difficult to drive on the road, as my Porsche, for example, is an absolute pain on the road. So
this is still really quite handy on the road?
This is pleasant. You can just tootle around, you can go shopping in it, and you can act like a complete dickhead if you want to. It's wonderful.
Nicely put. I want to take this car home.
It's not for sale. This is one of the cars I generally would not part with. In fact, this is the one, as I said before. I wouldn't like to part with it.
Oh, go
on. No chance.
Paul, we'll move on to some of your others. Thanks very much.
You're very welcome.
Right, here we are with the last car of Paul's collection that we're going to check out today. 911 Turbo, Paul, but with a lot of difference. You know a lot more about it than I ever would. Can you tell us what's happened with this car?
It's an extremely radical car. It started life as obviously 911 Turbo. At the time when I bought it, I had an Alpine GTA, which was very quick.
Yeah, they are nice.
Tuned up by Jan Speed. I was very, very pleased with it, and a bit disappointed, to be honest, when I first drove this. And it started a course of events which have culminated in the car in its current specification. It's got more than 600 horsepower and more than 600 foot-pounds of torque at the rear wheels.
And that's what really counts, isn't it?
Yes, it's the torque and horsepower combined. It weighs 1,100 kilos wet, therefore is probably the fastest vehicle on the road in the UK at the moment.
Oh my goodness. And you've actually done some quite high speeds in this car.
Yes. Rather than quotes, obscure horsepower figures, etc., we developed it with K&N, a research and development in Warrington, on their rolling road facility, which is state-of-the-art. And it was specifically built in its current guise to sprint in the 930 Sports Sprint Series in the Northwest.
Yeah. So what kind of speed are we talking then, Paul? If we...
it'll turn a sub 3 second 0 to 60 without being absolutely precise. It'll actually do better than that.
That's very fast.
4.7 seconds to 100, 7 seconds to 140, and we'll do way in excess of 200 miles an hour.
Now, the thing that got me, I mean, that's a very fast car, but it's got 4 gears.
Yes.
And can you tell us again about what it does in first gear?
It does 60 in first, and just
second.
over 100 in second.
What happens in third?
Close to 170 miles an hour.
In third gear?
In third gear, yes.
Blimey.
Yeah.
And then we get a nice big top speed. How much money are we talking that you've spent on this particular car? It's an expensive car to buy anyway.
It must be close to £200,000 over the years. It's been 8 years in development. We've had the engine grenade 4 times at least. But finally I discovered a company in Warrington called DP Motorsport.
That's right, yeah. We had Dave on the programme.
That's right, and he has made this car exactly what I wanted. They've done a wonderful, wonderful work with it.
Was it quite a challenge for Dave, do you think, to make a car?
Very, very much so, because to this day, and it's the truth, we don't understand why this particular engine is so powerful.
But isn't there something about the Porsches anyway? They can take some excess of 1,000 horsepower.
The drivetrain is designed to take 1,100 brake horsepower. And in fact, this car could produce 1,000 brake horsepower, but it would be just stupid on the road.
Yeah, it is now though, isn't it? It's quite...
It's a liability in the wet, to be honest.
Let's not mess around. It's got no sort of heaters inside or anything, has it? So you can't...
No, there's no heaters, no air conditioning. It's, the speakers are a joke. Because obviously it's so loud, you just couldn't hear a hi-fi. So there's a nice install would be a waste of time.
But can you go any further on it from now? I mean,
frankly, no. This, I think, is where I'm going to stop.
And it's probably one of the fastest cars in the UK. And
I would say that, I mean, I'll take on anybody, any place, anywhere. I mean, I ride motorcycles, and this car is more than a match for my Blackbird. I have a Honda Blackbird up to 80 miles an hour, and thereafter is much faster. Unbelievable.
So it will keep up with most motorbikes. All motorbikes pretty much then it will...
With the exception of the true superbikes such as the Hayabusa or the Blackbird, I would suggest it's more than a match for any of them.
Would you say this is your favourite car that you've got here then?
To be honest with you, I wouldn't say that. My favourite car is the Integrale.
Really?
Yes, A to B, I would say that there's nothing quicker. But for sheer thrills, this is it. But having said all that, it still doesn't recreate a motorcycle. I still got far, far more fun on 2 wheels.
Really? I think I could have plenty of fun in this. Can we take you somewhere to a track and see what this baby can actually do?
Absolutely, I'd love to do it.
Because we've got a few guys who've got some fast cars and things like that, and we'd like to have a day of checking those things out.
Yeah.
So you'd come down, yeah?
With absolute pleasure, yeah.
Paul, that'd be brilliant. My last question is, what are you going to go next? I mean, you've got so many nice cars here. What are you going to go for next?
To be honest with you, there's nothing else I want. I mean, I had a goal that these were the sort of cars I wanted to own. I've owned lots and lots of cars, and this is the pinnacle of it. This is where I stop. Absolutely unbelievable. Wow. Unless, of course, I can find a 5'4" blonde, but even the cars don't help me in my stage in life.
What a great time we had there. About time they'd let us out, eh?
Yeah, some lovely cars there.
There was, yeah. But anyway, without further ado, let's get on to Spain's finest, Lobo Castro.
Hello and welcome to the third part of how to transform your standard looking bike into a one-off street fighter. Today we're looking at the back end with Nick Coulton. Let's hear what he has to say about it. Hi Nick, again. Now for the last bit of your lovely Bimoto SB6. Should we start with the shock absorbers?
Yeah, we can do. Öhlins unit, as they are standard. This is a slightly higher spec. Reservoir down here. The only particularly interesting thing about the shock is they're mounted very hard to the right and in this horizontal position on the Bimoto, whereas usually we'd find a shock absorber in this area here.
Is that a thing you have changed?
Their Öhlins are standard. This is just a better spec Öhlins.
What about the swinging arm?
Stock Bimoto again, this time with a JMC brace, just to firm things up, and of course it looks a lot better. On
the last programme we talked about the supposedly petrol tank that sweeps into the back.
The one-piece bodywork, yeah.
Yeah. But tell me about the back end.
As I mentioned last time, it's a carbon fibre Kevlar composite. Most interesting about it, and this is a standard feature of the bike, and one of the reasons I chose it, is that this section is actually self-supporting. It's monocoque. The only part of frame on the motorcycle is the beam here, and possibly the swinging arm. All this is self-supporting, as I said, even the exhausts mount onto the bodywork, as opposed to a subframe. And this is one of the reasons the motorcycle's so light.
So the lights before, they were at the back in a fairly big place, which didn't look very good. You've done a good job there. As
standard, there's a big carbon fibre mudguard, a rather ugly tail light. I think Motor Guzzi's use them as well, and some fairly large indicators. We just jumped a lot and actually Frenched the indicators and backlights into the bodywork. The bodywork of the Bimoto at the back is quite wide, and it works quite well.
Thank you very much for showing us your lovely Bimoto.
Yeah, no problem.
I think we should go for another dos cervezas. Do you think?
Sounds better every time.
Come on, let's go. Now, this is an example of what people will go through to build the ultimate street fighter. That particular Bimoto, as a standard bike, had a cost of £16,000. It had another £10,000 spent on it. But in the near future, we will have a look at factory street fighters, just like this one. Watch this space.
Next week we've got some absolutely brilliant Beetles. But until then, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.